It's very uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people. I love the fans, so we'll see what comes.
I'm a restricted free agent. I've loved my years here. I've built a life here. We'll see what comes. With a single answer at exit interviews, Lexie Hull tossed a match into a gasoline-soaked comment section. Fever fans heard it, clipped it, and ran in two opposite directions. One camp swore it was a quiet goodbye. The other insisted it was standard contract talk. Both camps agreed on one thing. Those words felt heavy. Here's why. Restricted free agency isn't just a label, it's leverage. Indiana has the right to match any offer she signs elsewhere. That alone means the ball isn't purely in her court, and she knows it. The message behind that carefully balanced line was less, "I'm out," and more, "the decision won't be simple." It was honest, and it was strategic. Reading athletes by their exit interview vocabulary is a dangerous sport. Fans treat phrases like uncertainty and "we'll see" as neon arrows pointing to the door. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're guardrails, language that keeps options open without burning bridges. Hull threaded that needle with precision, praising the city, the fans, the people, and never once torching the franchise. That's not a farewell letter. That's a pro who understands negotiations. Still, the temperature in the room changed the second she said it. But reading athlete code is trickier than it looks, and you can't understand this answer without the season that shaped it.
Lexie Natasha tweeted and was just saying a bunch about pride and how proud she was of this team. Have you kind of had similar emotions the last couple of days, and how do you balance that with a very painful ending to the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think like following the game, it's so disappointing to lose. And most seasons end on a loss, so it's really hard and challenging. But I think when you sit back and think about our year and everything that we were able to accomplish with the circumstances that we were faced with.
If you had to sum up Hull's year in one word, she handed it to you herself: adaptability. One week, she's chasing wings over every screen. The next, she's a spacer who has to be ready on the catch. Then she's back to point of attack nuisance, navigating switches and scrapping for every 50-50 ball. That constant toggling isn't drama. Sometimes it's just the cost of a roster riding injuries and trying to survive a marathon schedule. But it does something to you. It tests rhythm. It messes with confidence. And it makes every game feel like you're meeting a slightly different version of your own team. Hull didn't complain about any of that. She called it growth. That's the most revealing part. She framed the chaos as a skill-building year, not a grievance list. Zooming out, Indiana's year was defined by disruption. Lineups flexed, roles bent, expectations snapped and reformed. Some nights it worked, others spiraled. Through that noise, Hull's value was in the glue. Defensive rotations covered, loose balls chased, space created for stars to breathe. Those plays don't hijack highlight reels, but they win the quiet moments that keep seasons afloat. That's also why fans panic when a glue piece sounds non-committal. You don't notice glue until the poster falls off the wall. And then came the pivot that changed the risk calculus for a lot of players, not just Hull.
Very uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit. But I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people. I love the fans. So we'll see what comes. Elliot?
Unrivaled arrived and rewrote winter. It's a domestic, player-driven 3-on-3 league co-founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. Short burst season. Real money. Visibility. No passport fatigue. Hull thrived there, won the inaugural title with Rose BC, and signed on again. For someone whose WNBA role morphs weekly, Unrivaled offers something deceptively simple: controlled reps, clean reads, a stage that rewards motor and decision-making without burying you in a 12-woman rotation. It's also a financial and competitive hedge. When the summer's collective bargaining talks feel volatile, winter suddenly looks like a safer bridge. Season 2 is slated to tip January 5th, and even plans tour stops. That means buzz, broadcasts, sponsor activations, everything players ask for when they say they want a league that treats them like the main event. None of this guarantees what Hull does in June, but it explains why her timeline doesn't have to bend to anyone else's urgency. If the summer gets messy, winter still pays. If the summer pays, winter sharpens. Either way, the player wins. If winter ball offers stability, what does summer demand in return?
It's better. I'm excited to sit down and not do anything for a little bit. Yeah.
For you, what was this season like in terms of the different iterations and the different versions of yourself that you had to play, different roles, shooting, defense, diving, all those different things?
Yeah, I mean, the year, I feel like my role changed throughout the course of the year. I think continuing to just show up as my best self, regardless of starting or not, or playing more on the ball defensively or off, whatever the night looked like, I feel like my ability to adapt grew throughout the year. And that's something that I think I can continue to work on my game, is being flexible and being able to really just do whatever the team needs. And this year, I think everyone on our team was challenged in a way.
Every offseason feels important until you run into one like this. The CBA expires October 31st. Owners and players are circling big-ticket issues: revenue share, salary growth, travel, scheduling, expansion, and nobody is pretending it's smooth. In a climate like that, a restricted free agent's best move is often patience. Let the market define itself. Let the league define itself. And keep multiple lanes open. It's not about loyalty or disloyalty. It's about avoiding bad timing in a volatile system. For fans, uncertainty reads as drama. For players, it's math. Signing fast can secure comfort. Waiting can unlock surprise leverage. If a new CBA juices cap space or incentives, an RFA standing still in October might end up farther ahead by February. That context matters when you replay Hull's exit interview phrases. She didn't dodge the question. She answered it in the only way that makes sense when tomorrow's rules might change next week. And Indiana's own puzzle pieces complicate things further.
Moving forward, just every single thing we faced, I think, is something that we won't forget. Like the injuries, the playing through people that playing with groups that we are just haven't even practiced with for the first time in games. Like we were faced with so much uncertainty. So I think there isn't one pinpoint game where I'm I'll remember that game. It's almost just...
RFA means Indiana can match. That single tool can dissuade suitors or, paradoxically, flush out the true market if someone still drops an offer sheet. If they love the fit, they match and keep the glue. If they don't, they negotiate, sign and trade, or let it go and reallocate. What they can't do is manufacture the chemistry that a trusted wing brings overnight. You can replace a stat line faster than you can rebuild trust, especially around a young star. That's the part fans intuitively grasp. It's not just about points. It's about who calms a huddle when the roof starts to rattle. Roster building is a stack of choices, and the Fever have real ones. Hull's defensive range helps them toggle coverages around a high-usage lead guard. Lose that, and you ask someone else to wear two hats at once, fight through screens, and hit the corner three under pressure. That's a big ask for a rookie or a minimum signee. If Indiana decides to move on, it has to be on purpose, not by default. That means targeting a wing who can credibly guard up, cut on Clark's drives, and keep the weak side honest. Otherwise, the offense gets sticky and the defense leaks in all the familiar places. So where does that leave the franchise centerpiece? Clark's season never got the runway it needed. A string of leg and groin issues chopped the calendar into fragments. She never found longer than a small handful of consecutive games before July 15th shut it down. She said the offseason is about getting healthy first, everything else second. None of that is controversy, it's reality. But here's the crossroads. If a trusted defensive wing and on-court problem solver like Hull doesn't return, Clark's year 2 becomes a test of creation and connection. She'll need to score, yes. She'll also need to manufacture trust on the fly with whoever fills that spot. There's a lazy narrative that pops up whenever a teammate explores the market. Nobody wants to play with the star. That ignores the simplest truth. Players want clarity. Role clarity. System clarity. Health clarity. CBA clarity. Hull's exit interview tone didn't throw a single teammate under the bus. It read like a pro weighing options in a shifting landscape. For Clark, The leadership pivot is less about yelling louder and more about making reads that create comfort for the next wing in line. Hit them early. Reward the cut. Defend with connection. Stars don't just score, they stabilize. There's one more layer people miss when they assume she's gone. Social media treats a cryptic caption or a wistful exit quote like a notarized transfer. It isn't. The only things that count are a signed offer sheet, Indiana's match/no match decision, or a trade call. Until then, it's negotiation theater. Hull's built a life here, line cut both ways. It acknowledged roots and left the door open. In the next 30 days, you'll see reports, rumors, and hearing that posts. The tell will be simple. Either a team pushes an offer sheet big enough to stress Indiana's cap, or Indiana signals early that she's a foundational match no matter what. Anything else is noise. If the market heats up, expect unrivaled appearances and CBA headlines to get dragged into the narrative. That's fine. Just remember the sequence. League rules first, team strategy second, player preference threaded through both. If a deal lands that balances role, money, and winning, Hull will take it. If Indiana wants the glue back, they'll prove it on paper. Until then, call it what it is. Uncertain, not final. Lexie Hull's answer wasn't a goodbye. It was a mirror. It reflected a season where adaptability was her job description, a winter league that finally makes sense for athletes' bodies and bank accounts, and a summer system negotiating its own future in real time. Fans heard a door closing. What they actually heard was a professional leaving one door open while she checks whether the hallway is about to be remodeled. For Indiana, the takeaway is straightforward. If you believe your star needs stabilizers, pay the glue. If you believe you can build that trust faster with someone else, move decisively and design it on purpose. For Clark, the assignment doesn't change. Get healthy, set the tone, turn 5 strangers into 5 signals on the same wavelength. For Hull, the logic is clean. Maximize control in winter, maximize leverage in summer, and let the best offer win.